The condo market in Calgary has seen a significant transformation over the last decade and more. Starting in 2007, we saw crazy highs, 2010 lows, 2014 highs, and then 2015 lows. And now it's 2023. What is happening? The market itself is really changing. If you own a condo now and were forced to kind of keep it and rent it out because you couldn't afford to sell it in the past, well, you're in the right place. If you thought of buying a condo over the next couple of years, you're also in the right place. We're gonna talk a lot about all of these things, everything condo, what's happened over the last couple decades, and what we think is going to happen in the future. And this is Rebecca Chamberlain. Yes, this is my wife, business partner for 20 years, and she is a kick-ass real estate agent. So we're gonna talk with her, get her opinion on what's going on in the market right now. About a month ago, she came to me saying she didn't feel like things were kind of the same depending on different product types in our market. And the market is entering what we're calling a little bit of a breathing phase right now. It's not going away, it's not disappearing. So what is it gonna look like as we head into 2024? So if you look in this chart, you will see that back in 2007 and 2014, there was a huge growth in the amount of condos being built. It's all in the yellow there. And we are kind of walking into that same time frame. So a lot of these people who ended up buying condos back in 2007 and 2014, when they were new, a lot of them are still owning those condos because they never could sell them. And so when you end up talking to those people, what are you finding is options and what can they do? And what can someone do who's owned it for so long, who doesn't want to own it anymore?
I think sometimes people are over owning condos. I have sold several condos this month, which everyone purchased them either in 2007 and 2008, and they're over it. One thing I always stress, because nobody wants to ever lose money, is always chatting with your accountant about a terminal loss, which is different than a capital loss. A terminal loss is something that most people are unaware of. A terminal loss can actually be applied to if you own a condo and you paid more than it's worth today. And the difference between a terminal loss and a capital loss is that a terminal loss can be actually written against your income, and a capital loss can only be written off on a capital gain. So that is very specific to a condo and is worth giving us a call to chat more about if you're tired of being a condo owner.
Yeah, because it can actually allow you to sell a property and to kind of get out from underneath it, but yet
capture some of that loss.
Capture some of the loss, especially if it's not worth what it was. Because even now, you're still selling some condos that are selling for less than what they paid for them.
Totally.
Especially by how much sometimes?
Sometimes 50,000. Like there's times where when there was a boom and there was the new construction of these condos, there in 2010, like I sold one downtown and it's still at a $50,000 loss. Now, who wants to have a loss? But if you can capture that on your income, then it doesn't seem so bad, because sometimes we're just done being property owners.
Yeah. The nice thing about that too, though, is then if you actually have that condo like that, you've had enough time that your mortgage is probably paid down the difference in what you're going to lose.
Right.
So if you put in just for example, $100,000 into it, even though you're selling at maybe a $30,000 loss, your mortgage is probably paid off more than $30,000. So you'll get your initial investment back, most likely, if it's been a rental. And then you still have the terminal loss that you can apply to your income.
Right.
So it's actually can be a decent situation to get your money back.
Yeah, it's just been a huge win. There's so many people that their life stages changed, right? They have kids, they're working full time. They don't have time to be a landlord anymore. And so this feels like a win and they see a benefit from. I talk to people constantly who have bought a condo and they're actually from Toronto. And they are actually surprised how much condos have not increased because the conversation from, and you know this if you live in Vancouver or Toronto, their condos have increased sometimes $300,000 to $400,000 since they purchased. Or more. And that's the money that has been coming into Calgary, because why would they own a condo if they could actually own a house in Calgary? Or I talked to someone yesterday who is looking to move from Vancouver. They live in a condo for $800,000 and they're going to move to Calgary and look at exploring a house. So we just have to be very cognitive of all these different conversations people are having.
But what about like the mentality of homeowners buying condos?
Calgary is the size of New York. We don't have the density. Calgarians love their houses. They don't want to be in an apartment. They don't have the same amenities. Calgary is doesn't even have as big of a population base as the GTA. So there's not as many amenities.
The mentality in Calgary has been very much, this is for first-time buyers.
Right.
Like, it's not like a family is going to buy a condo in Calgary and live there.
Correct.
And a lot of that is tied to amenities too, right?
Right, and just affordability. Why would you live downtown in 1,000 square feet if for a similar price that you could live out in suburbia and have a basement? Everybody has too much stuff, and condo ownership really gleans towards minimalism, not Amazon deliveries every day.
It's true. Amazon deliveries and condos suck.
Yeah, I just see always the packets when I show condos that are like somehow put aside, but I always think they must get stolen. Yeah. The condo market has been very bumpy. If you've owned a condo, nobody has felt like that is like a great investment in Calgary, because prices have gone down up until, I would say, the last year.
So like, if you think of that, if you go back in 2007, 2014, were the condo prices back then similar to what they are now?
We sold our condo in 2008, and we are now just seeing that same price point of what we sold it for. We saw it in 2014-ish, and now again. So prices have inclined and then declined. So that's hard for
They actually went up into 2008, because we paid like what, 220?
We paid 205 and we sold it for 240.
40. And then it's those condos have been at 240 or less ever since.
Most for the last 5 years, we watched it and it was 200, which is, nobody wants to buy a home and have the value go down. The average of condo prices is almost the same as it was in 2007. And single family house is
low
11,700 average price. So you can see that it's almost unaffordable for people to buy a detached home. They're going to look to condo ownership. Plus, I think there's many factors where, we're talking almost 20 years ago, people were getting married younger. They were having more kids sooner. Now that isn't the trend. Sometimes people aren't starting their family till like 35, 40. And so then there's a lot of fun times they can have in that condo. There's so much opportunity for growth for condo prices because people can't afford single family houses. As long as people keep coming here, they have to start somewhere. Or I think we'll start seeing investors come back into the market because there's actually an ability to cash flow with their condo. So, that is good news for someone who's owned a condo. But it's been we've owned condos, we've owned investment properties since 2007, and some of those properties haven't cash flowed. And so
they aren't worth what we paid since then.
Which is, that's a long time.
Yeah. And it's hard to live off of no cash flow.
I think for very first time, as we continue to see in-migration, which is really done by the federal government, they are bringing more people into Canada than we've seen internationally. And so in that way, I think condos actually have the ability to go up. And so I think as a first-time home buyer, it's a great purchase. You're going to be paying either your landlord or the bank. It gets you into the market. I think that, exploring your preferences and talking about life stage to make sure you don't buy a condo and need to move in the next 6 months, but it gives people tremendous opportunity.
I think the other thing too is that the growth that could potentially happen in the condo market could finally start happening.
Right.
And I think why that is because, like we said at the beginning, Calgary has had historically such a negative view of condo living when it comes to more than one person, mainly. And so it's like a transitionary property. But as other things become more expensive and these stay more affordable, they're going to increase for sure. But those individuals are going to have to make a decision and kind of figure that out. But then that also means condo developers are going to have to start getting better amenities, which I think is happening.
Right. I think it also gives the opportunity for downsizers or right-sizers, what I call it. So people that are, they don't need that family home anymore.
Yeah.
And they are looking to have a smaller space because now their kids are hosting dinner or they're going out to eat or something like that. So they want a different lifestyle change. It frees up so much time getting rid of a family
Well, and
home.
we've seen friends of ours that are in their 50s do this.
Yeah.
Like they sold their suburban home. They went and rented down in East Village.
Yeah.
And they're loving life.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's a little sometimes
sketchy. They said there's ambulances there every other night, but whatever.
Instead of TV, they've saved on their cable bill.
But it's changing that lifestyle, and I think there's more options and more. There's more options for people to have, right?
And just exploring. I think space and knowing what you need. And again, maybe you just are cutting those Amazon purchases. So, Mr. Chamberlain, YouTuber.
Mr. YouTuber.
Where do you think the condo market's going to go in 2024?
I think there's so much room for growth, right? Like the market is so skewed, so the condo market is so low in terms of the value. There's so many people that are needing to still buy properties. There's a lot of you that are commenting on the videos themselves talking about affordability. Like, why would someone move from a condo in Toronto and try to get into a house in Calgary, but they can't anymore? So why would they go into something smaller? Well, there's still affordability. They're still gonna have less of a mortgage here because they're gonna pull equity out. There's still so many opportunities in the market. I mean, where do you think?
Yeah, I think 2024 and the end of 2023, we're going to see one of the strongest condo segments. Just for those very reasons. I think you're going to also see a lot of people who are downsizing, moving into a condo so they can free up some money and travel and just live life and enjoy it versus doing housework. Who wants to do housework if you're a single person living in a big house anymore? Or
even an older couple.
Yeah.
Like in 60 plus kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
Good work.
That was good.